Hey guys, welcome back to Stripped by Sia. We are joined today by the one and only Samantha Mack. Oh my god, I'm so excited to have you on the show. You've been on my list for quite some time, but to be honest, I wanted the podcast.
Like 6 months.
Like a long time. It's a long time. But I wanted the podcast to gain some traction though too, you know.
So at least 4 people are listening before I come on. Let's just start with some shade.
That's a real truth. So I was like, okay, I'm 20 episodes in now. It should be good. But I met you. Yeah, hi, Mom.
Thanks for listening, Mom.
So amazing. So I met you probably 2 years ago now when I started doing amateur night.
Amateur night. What was your name then?
Kimchi.
No, before Kimchi.
Oh,
I donned you Kimchi.
Vivian Lace.
Yes. Did we have 3 Vivians competing that night?
Yes.
And I was like...
No.
Because at one point I was like, okay, now we have white Vivian. Now we have Asian Vivian. And I'm like, I can't say that.
No.
And I was like, I dubbed thee Kimchi.
Yes. And he still get me and K Max. It's confused. I'm I know we're both Asian and we both start with K, but I was like, no, I'm not Kate. But yes, but I remember meeting you, I guess, probably a couple years ago now, doing amateur night, and I was so terrified.
And you were not an amateur at all.
No, and I did 10 amateur nights. I did all the fucking amateur nights.
Which is hilarious, because don't you teach pole dancing?
I now teach pole dancing.
Yeah.
Only as of this year.
Okay.
Year, but yeah, kind of cheating that way. But anyways, ramble on. Sorry, okay, this is total sidebar. But yeah, I met you, and I thought you were amazing, and also scary too. I was intimidated by you too.
That's my goal.
So. You did good. But I want you to define what you do. Tell the world who you are, in case people don't know who you are.
Oy vey.
I'd be surprised.
Well, I'm Samantha Mack, and the reason I became popular is because back in the day, I was one of the only strippers who would publicly say she was a stripper. So when there was a sex convention in town or a big event, I was the loud and proud, I'm a stripper, book me. I did a pole dance at City Hall on the Jeff O'Neill show. We broke about 30 public bylaws.
Oh my god.
And it was a publicity scam, but I was one of the very few dancers that would publicly say, hey, I'm a stripper, come look at me. Back then, way back in 2005, a lot of girls were very secretive about dancing still. It was still something you did in the shadows. It was very hush-hush. I was one of the first people to ever get trained by Tammy Morris.
There we go.
Yes.
There you
Before
go.
she even had a pole up in her first studio just over the Broad Street Bridge.
Holy crap. That was a long time ago. Back at Cook Street?
Is that what Cook Street is?
Yeah, where Olympic Village is now. But
no, this is before that.
Oh, before that?
You go over the Broad Street Bridge, and it was right before you hit West 4th. There was a little side street, and she had a little warehouse in there amongst the little Otto von stores.
I did not know this. Oh my gosh.
Yep. I think I was there. Shit. They had one pole up, and she had ordered other poles my first lesson, and I was like, well, thank God there's one pole. And I paid her for private lessons, and that's how I got into proper stage performances. I've been doing VIP dances for a while, and then I was like, I want to be a stripper. I want to be that girl that travels all over the place. I want a trailer behind me full of merchandise. And then I learned about Tammy Morris and how good she was, and that she was opening a pole studio, which had never been done in Vancouver before.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I want in. So we used to go sit at Brandy's and watch her, and then take notes. We were wannabe strippers. But that's why I got a following as quickly as I did, is because everyone else was very secretive about it, and I was like, I'm sexy, come get it. So it gave me a launching pad that a lot of girls haven't had. And now everyone's like, I took a pole dancing lesson. Look at me on my Instagram. Yeah. That was not a thing. My first stripper promo has MySpace on it. So.
Oh my God, MySpace. Throwback. Shit. Okay, so you were a first for many things. And obviously, you're big on YouTube, porn, everything.
Yes, it fucking evolved.
Everything. Kink, fetish life. There's so many avenues.
So, yeah, and I'm the host of everything.
Yeah.
So I went from being the only stripper who would publicly say she was a stripper at conventions to being the girl that hosted conventions. Because contrary to how I sound today, I have a wonderful voice. And I was really good at hosting and emceeing. So I ended up getting into hosting everything. I did stand-up comedy. I did radio for a while. I had some talk shows. I revealed my first boob job on the Jeff O'Neill show.
Wow.
On the Fox. That was fun.
God. Cool. And we're talking a lot about boobs later too, guys.
I have boobs. That's another thing.
Yeah, that's a
really
huge
big boobs.
The biggest boobs I've ever seen.
So it's not like I was like, hey, I'm a stripper, come see me. It was like, whoa, who's that chick with the massive tits? Oh, she'll talk to me? Oh, she'll get naked for me? Okay. Like, it was kind of like there was a triple threat involved. But yeah, I would say these are my third set of boobs, kind of.
Kind of, sort of.
Kind of, sort of.
How? What do you mean, kind of?
We've been working on them a long time. I was blessed with one really big tit. And the other one just kind of tried to keep up my whole life. And so by the time I could afford a boob job in 2005, I just got 2 implants. 435 cc's, and I shoved them in there, and the doctors were like, no, like, we should do a reduction and a lift and even your tits out. You should go a year without any boobs, and then we can put in implants and make them look good. And I was like, I can't go a year without boobs.
Yeah, no.
I have been stuffing the right one to make it look like the left one for 20 some odd years. There's no way that I can like suddenly be flat.
Yeah.
And so I just shoved in implants. And when you do that, you just end up with a really big boob and then like an okay boob. So that sucked.
Yeah.
I ruptured an implant snowboarding.
Ooh.
I shouldn't say ruptured it. I dislocated it. So my implant went up on my collarbone.
Oh my god, this sounds so painful.
It was awful.
Oh my gosh.
I was with some really hot guys snowboarding, and I didn't want to be a baby, so I went to the bathroom and I unzipped my jacket and I saw my tit like up at my face, and I was like, no! And I smashed it back down, but it rotated the implant and flipped it upside down.
Oh my god.
So back in those days, I got what would you call them? They were like a D-shaped implants. They were flat on one side and curved on the other, kind of like a dinner bowl.
Oh my gosh.
Right? So a dinner bowl on your chest. Mine had flipped, so it was flat on the front.
My god.
And it was curved underneath, so it could rock back and forth like a teeter-totter.
Oh my god.
So I had to get a second set of implants after that.
Right.
So at that point, I was like, well, I might as well get what I want. So that's when I had a reduction and a lift. I had a lot of my left boob removed so that I could even out my tits. I had 600 cc's put in. I asked for 800. They told me I was crazy. I now agree with them. Because like 600 like is on edge to edge on my rib cage. If I went 800, my boobs would be out here, my arms would be like, I'd be walking like a bodybuilder. And then I ended up going in for another surgery to have fat taken out of like my stomach and my torso and injected into my right boob to make them match. So that was like 3 surgeries to have matching boobs.
Oh my god.
And this whole time my boobs have been famous and I've been fooling the world. But I started off with like a B cup and a double D. And no one, until I tell people, they have no idea. Somewhere there's photos.
I had no idea.
Like I've posted the pictures before, but I have to go back to my doctor to find like the original like sad tit, happy tit photos. It was like,
that's insane.
What are those like the drama masks? Like the
happy sad.
One was happy, one was sad.
Oh no.
But yeah, my whole career's been based off having big boobs, and this whole time I've had like one mangled tit.
Well, you certainly have a personality, and your boobs have personality, and we have so much to talk about today. I don't even know where to start, but like, can you like tell us like what your story is, like how you got started, what were you doing before, if you want to share that, like how did you get involved in this whole world?
Well, to be 100% honest, I have always wanted to be a porn star. And that sounds really horrible. Like, even as a teenager, I was like, I want to be in Playboy. I want guys to open up their locker. I want my picture to be in there. Like, I don't want them thinking some other person's so great. Like, I want to be so great. And maybe it's a weird goal to have, but I think growing up being like, I was always like the husky farm girl, and I just wanted to be pretty. That's all. Like, I just wanted people to like me. And so the older I got and the more I saw like, oh, men like this in women, I was like, that's stupid. Anyone could put that costume on and be that. So that's essentially what I did, is I put on the costume and was like, haha, I want to be like now. So there.
Right.
And it worked. I was a lifeguard.
Oh.
And my whole life, like little me wanted to be, at first I wanted to be a ballerina. I did that.
Didn't we all want to do that?
Yeah. I did Chickadee Ballet for 12 years and then got over that. My toes are throwing up gang signs now. And then I was a lifeguard and I loved it. But originally I wanted to be a lifeguard because I was watching Baywatch.
I was going to say,
Baywatch had big boobs.
Yeah.
So I thought that swimming would give you big boobs because all the girls on the show had big boobs. So I really got into swimming because I really wanted big boobs. And then I became a lifeguard, and it did not come with big boobs.
No.
Granted, though, even with my like sad tit, happy tit, I still had bigger boobs than everybody else on my lifeguard team. I took that really seriously. I went to sports related medicine. I wanted to like continue saving the world because I thought, I still think lifeguards are amazing. Very thankless job. I've dove into all kinds of water to pull people out who were not going to live if they continued being in the water.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when you pull them out, it's the family who's like, get off my job. What are you?
My God.
And I've been yelled at for saving people's lives. And I was like, this is a really thankless job.
Yeah. Like you're welcome.
Like, I've done some really crazy rescues. And everything happens outside the community center. Like, in the pool, you're so safe. Outside the pool is where everything happened. Like, we always got called to, like, other facilities because we would show up faster than the fire police or paramedics. I had a guy in a football practice who hit a tackling dummy wrong, and he put his arm all the way out, and the guy hit the dummy beside him, and it broke his arm in 3 places. He had a W for an arm.
Oh, my gosh.
So
I'm cringing so much.
Yeah, I've done CPR for real. Which is terrifying.
That is terrifying.
Well,
people's lives are really like in your hands. Right?
Yes, and it sucks. Like being a lifeguard, it sucks because you're not allowed to stop CPR if you do CPR until a medical professional tells you to stop. So at one point, like you're sucking in the face with a dead guy. Like,
oh, when you put it that way, it sounds so awful.
Well, and that's the thing. Like. Doctors, paramedics, anybody in the life-saving field make jokes because that's how you deal with it. Right. And to the normal person, it seems so crazy. Like, how dare you? But like, I mean, it was in front of my face. You got to deal with it.
Yeah, it is what it is, right?
But I mean, we've also saved tons of people. I think in my whole career, 7 to 10 years, I have only experienced one death, and it was one where we got called out to it, and there was just nothing we could do. It was an old woman. Oh. She was taking a karate class.
Oh my gosh.
She was in her 90s.
Good for her.
She was she was famous at our rec center. Like we knew when, old Edna showed up. And there was just nothing we could do. She was so old. She was taking a karate class. She was amazing. It was just her time. We had to do CPR until we were told not to, and that sucked. Right. I have worked at facilities where there had been deaths, but I didn't have them like firsthand. But in 10 years, like one that I've firsthand been there for, and the rest, everybody lived, man.
That's good.
People are super resilient. But I really loved that kind of job, and it was amazing, but it does not pay the bills. I'm not, like, that's a good and bad thing, because like, they pay well. Like when you're a city employee working for the municipality and the pools in your city,
they pay well.
A well-paying job. But the world needs a lot more money to survive. And I quit lifeguarding at $26 an hour, but that's not enough money to live in Vancouver.
It's just not.
Especially when you have to work split shifts for those hours. It just wasn't feasible. And so this whole time I was working out and I was trying to get sexier and be awesome in my Speedo. And so every time I lost 20 pounds, I gave myself a present. So I lost 20 pounds, I got my nose pierced. Lost another 20 pounds, got my nose pierced again. Lost another 20 pounds, got my tongue pierced. Lost another 20 pounds, got my clit pierced.
There you go.
And then when I lost 100 pounds, I took a pole dancing class.
And that's when you met Tammy?
No. So I took a pole dancing class at the Paramount in North.
Oh my God, in New West.
New West.
Oh my God, the Paramount.
And the owner at the time there was Bob and Steve. And Bob was like, you got some tits. Can you work Friday? And I was like, oh. He's like, you got good upper body strength. You're picking this up really fast. You have a dance background. You're going to work Friday. He's like, you keep everything you make Friday night. If you like it, you come back. You don't like it, don't come back. And so the first Friday night I worked, I made so much money. I think I walked out with over $1,000.
What?
And I was like, I don't even make $1,000 in 2 paychecks right now. Like, this is so good. So I was still teaching swimming lessons in the day and then stripping at night secretly. And I didn't know how to tell my parents. And I was really concerned. And so I waited till they clued in. Like, why are you dressing up so much? Why do you have so much money? What's going on?
Yeah.
And so I told them that I was working at a biker bar spit shining Harleys for bikers. And my parents were like, what? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I spit into my hand and then I rubbed their bikes and they paid me a lot of money for it. My dad's like hell you are. And I was like, no, I'm just stripping. Don't worry about it. And then there was no issue. And he got so amped up and I go, this is why I didn't want to tell you. And he's like, oh, okay, well you can tell us. And then I was like, I'm stripping at this club and they don't serve alcohol and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And I take pole dancing lessons and, I'm training athletically with these girls. And he was like, oh, well, you can tell us anything. It's all right.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm so glad that I set them up because it mellowed them out for it.
Totally.
And they've come to the Taboo show to watch me strip, not to watch me strip because you can't get naked there, but to watch me pole dance. And
that's awesome. He's super supportive.
My dad, when I was in a relationship with a guy who bought the new Mugs and Jugs.
Oh, yeah.
We worked at the newest one, and then we took it to Surrey because you have to move a club to another place with a pole license, basically.
Okay.
So we were stuck with either the old Uranus Lounge on Main and Kingsway.
Oh my gosh.
Or Wally.
Yeah.
And for some reason they chose Wally.
Yeah.
And the city came in, they were like, nope, your stage isn't good. Nope, this isn't good. Nope, that isn't good. My dad came in and built the stage.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So, and we had little chrome mud flap girls on the little tables around the stage. And I was like, that's pretty amazing to have that kind of support from your parents.
Yeah, it's super rad.
Yeah. We no longer have that club. We had that for a minute. I don't even have that boyfriend anymore. Just to clarify, I don't own a strip club. Don't come for me. But yeah, it was kind of a weird evolution. Like I quit teaching swimming lessons real fast.
Yeah.
And I gave up on lifeguarding altogether, and I was like, money's over here. I started traveling, and I was one of the first groups of girls that left the Paramount. There's 4 of us. We left the Paramount, and we made like an oath. Like, we're going to study, we're going to stay sober, we're going to work hard, we're going to collect our money, we're going to look fabulous, and we're not going to be those strippers. And so we started traveling, and I always had big monster trucks. Mm-hmm. Being half redneck myself, I've always had really big trucks, so I was the girl that drove. We did the Alberta circuit before a lot of BC girls knew what the Alberta circuit was.
Right.
And we were getting promo posters done, and I remember at the Paramount, Steve was just like, what are you doing? You don't get girls to take photos, like they're gonna leave our club. And I was like, well, if they leave your clubs because you're not offering what the other clubs are.
Yeah.
And I got fired.
Oh my God. From Paramount?
Yep. Now, years later, Steve and I are very good friends.
Yeah.
But he did fire me from the Paramount.
Is it more because of a conflict of interest?
Well, I think we were both very different people at that time.
Okay.
I was very business-minded, and I was like, no, I'm going to hustle and make as much money as I can.
Yeah.
With or without you. And he was like, don't threaten my club, little woman. You're going to keep girls here. You don't tell them they can go somewhere else. And so it was get rid of me to keep the rest of his dancers. He had his interests in mind. I had mine in mind. And I was like, all right, cool, Steve. Nice knowing you. It wasn't a bad firing. Like,
right.
He didn't throw my locker out in the alley or anything.
No, and that was so long ago, too.
It was so long ago. Oh my God. That, I got fired from there.
And that's kind of like
almost 20 years ago.
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't that crazy? And that's when money was still really good.
Money was great.
Yeah.
I made more money than sense back then. I would call my mom in tears if I didn't make $1,000 a day. I'd be like, I didn't meet my goal. What would I have done? Just tears. And I didn't know any better. And that's why I ended up like barely 20 years old. The bank offers me a Visa card. I'm throwing money on it. I'm making so much money a week. I'm like, raise my limit, raise my limit, raise my limit. It raised it enough for me to get a good boob job. So I did. And then I stopped paying off my card. Because I didn't know how credit cards worked. I was like, whatever, there's money on the card. What do you mean? What do you mean I have to pay more? I'm still now, nearly 20 years later, trying to get good credit from that first boob job.
Fuck.
It's hell.
Yeah, try to like rebuild that.
After I got my first boob job, I was like, I don't need a credit card. Cut it up, and I thought, okay, my card's done because I cut it up.
No,
I didn't realize I still had to make all these payments.
Yeah,
so I paid it off in full. Well, if you pay your card off in full, it's not good for your credit. So 20 years later now, because I went 15 years without a credit card.
What?
I was like, screw it. I don't want to have to pay extra. I don't want to pay interest. And I was able to like do everything. Booking hotels was tricky, but not impossible. Right. I could do everything else without a card. You want to book a flight? No problem. You just go to Flight Center. You can pay them in cash.
Right.
And then they'll book it for you.
There's workarounds.
There was so many workarounds. So I was like, I don't have a credit card. I'm so smart. And now that I'm trying to find a house, I'm like, I'm an idiot.
And that's another, I'm like following your stories on that. It sounds like a freaking headache.
Oh, it's horrible.
Sounds awful. It's another topic.
But yeah, so my first boob job was completely, like I probably paid for my first job 4 times with the amount of interest that
accumulated. Yeah, for sure.
So very expensive tits. Very expensive.
Well, you're also very well known for them now, so yes. Which is great.
But yeah, but long story short, this has been a very long story. Long story short, I was very successful. I did really well. I got really pretty, and I had the opportunity to do porn, and I jumped on it.
Okay, so how did you get into porn? Like, how did this whole start? Did someone approach you, or?
So my ex-girlfriend. So there was a point in my life where I thought I was lesbian, and then after dating a woman for 8 months, I realized that I'm not exactly a lesbian. Like on Tuesdays, for sure. But it's a really funny thing. Like, if I had to choose who I was attracted to, I would pick somebody soft, beautiful, flexible, nice tits, soft bum. You know, like somebody who listens to me and at Christmas time remembers that one thing I told them that one time and then brings it back and is super special memento.
So tender.
But for some reason, I really love like knuckle dragging mouth breather gym rats. And I don't know why. So like if sexuality was a choice, I would clearly choose women. But no matter how many times I have a wonderful time with women, some part of me wants to wake up next to a hairy, snoring man beast. And I don't know why. It's hard to explain. Yes. And as much as like I love my husband, he's amazing, there's part of me that's like, could I just have a girlfriend on the side? Like just like maybe Tuesday, Wednesdays.
Just
like,
part-time.
Like she's really soft and pretty and beautiful. But yeah, I had this girlfriend who was amazing, and her and I traveled together and we did shows together and we were working together.
She was a stripper too?
She was a VIP dancer.
Okay.
She was a VIP dancer at the Penthouse.
Oh,
and
okay.
I walked in one day and was like, hi, I'm a new VIP dancer. And I was like, hi, I'm Samantha. And she's like, hi, I'm Sam. And I was like, change your name. And that's how our relationship started. And then she was like, actually, you made out with me in a club once. And she's like, actually, you've had your tongue down my throat. I'm like, I don't think so. Hair flip. And it turns out that she was right. And so we negotiated, and she was able to be, we called her Little Sam. And I was Samantha, because Sam was short for Sam, and she's like 4'10". So she was literally short. And we started working together, and then she was like, hey, like, I've got this peep show set up at my house. Like, these guys can come into the front foyer. There's this wall with, like, holes that I can open up and peek through. They open up the hole, they put the money in, and then they watch us. And I was like, sounds legit. I'll do it. And it was, like, my very first, like, experience doing anything outside of a strip club. Mm-hmm. And we made a lot of money. And all I had to do was show up to be hot. And, like, we kind of lesbian fooled around. And then it turned into, like, us doing, like, full shows. And we would, like, travel to bachelor parties. And, like, we had, like, a big jug with, like, lines on it. And it's like, oh, if you fill the jug up with money to this line, we'll do this. This line, we'll do this. So we ended up doing, like, full-on fisting shows.
Oh, my God.
Because she's also 4'10". She's got size 4 feet. She's got tiny little hands. I look like a normal-sized human by comparison. But I was like, this is awesome. So she would end up fisting me once the whole thing was overflowing, and we would go home with so much money. It was great. And we had a lot of fun. And so after like weeks of doing this and being with her every day, I was like, are we dating?
What are we?
Like you have your hand up me like a puppet. Like, are we having sex? Like, I'm with you every day. I like you. I guess I'm a lesbian now. So I had like this whole coming out.
Yeah.
And then after 8 months, I had a whole going back in.
You're like, I am confused.
And then I learned that you can be pansexual. And I was like, oh, that's what I want to be. I don't want rules anymore. Because before, like, I mean, back in the early 2000s, I thought you were either gay or straight. I didn't think there was another option. Like, people said they were bisexual, but no one took that seriously.
Right.
So especially from coming from a girl.
Yeah.
So I was just like, oh, I must be gay. So it was a really interesting, like, sexual journey that this whole thing took me on.
Totally.
But she didn't want to work at a call center anymore. She was like, no, I'm doing these peep shows. Like, I'll fist you for money. Like, let's do bachelor parties. Let's do this. And I was like, okay. So I was along for this journey. And then we ended up having a fight. What was it? I was mad at her because she didn't cover her mouth when she coughed. And we didn't speak for 3 years.
Oh my God.
And then 3 years later, like, we ran into each other and we're like socially cordial.
Yeah.
And then she was like, hey, I'm shooting porn now. And I was kind of like, haha, you're 4'10". You don't have boobs and you can't do porn. And then she was really crazy successful. And I was like, whoop, let me take my foot out of my mouth. And she was like, oh, I need a girl with big boobs in like the background of one of my videos. Like, you should be there. I'm like, well, I would never do that. Like, I'm such a pure, wonderful person. Like, I'm not even getting naked. She's like, well, you show your tits. And I was like, yeah, okay. She's like, you don't have to touch the guy. Just be there. And I was like, okay. She's like, well, let's just do some like fetish videos. So my first video is about me working out and my stinky socks. And we sold my sneakers after that video for $200. And I was like,
yes.
What? And then the next video, I was just standing there in like a corset and a black skirt while she spanked a guy, and I just laughed. And then the next video, I have a gloved hand, like a leather glove on, and I'm covering a guy's mouth. Well, am I allowed to say things like jerked him off?
Yeah,
okay,
say
good.
Whatever the fuck
so
you want.
So she jerked him off. And so I was never the girl doing the bad thing in the video. It was always her. She did all the work. I just showed up with tits. She got all the views. I got paid.
That worked out.
It worked out. And then after like doing this for a few months, I was like, I should open my own store and sell my own videos. Mm-hmm. Like, this is amazing. So I started doing that. And I started and I stopped the first time because, like, it's really hard to do porn by yourself. Mm-hmm. Not only is it hard to fuck yourself, but it's hard to do the advertising, the marketing, the release times. And, like, back then, like, 2010 was my first porno video ever. And it was really hard to advertise. We didn't have Twitter. We didn't have Instagram. We didn't have Facebook. You couldn't really talk about it on MySpace. Like, you had to know where these secret underground fetish forums were.
Right.
And so without that kind of knowledge of the industry and technical knowledge, it was really hard to make a GIF to advertise your video in 2010. You had to be a little bit of a computer genius. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, you can do everything on your phone.
Yeah.
Like, now you can sneeze and accidentally be in porn now. And sneezing fetish is a big thing.
That's another thing. Oh my God.
I have a viral sneezing video. Yeah, so she was like, listen, I'll help you. I'll build your store for you. I'll do your first, like, 20 videos. I'll edit them. All you do is show up with ideas. So I showed up with costumes and idea, and I half-assed it. And she made all my videos, and it was awesome. And I wouldn't say a lot of money. I didn't make stripper money, but I was making passive income, and I was like, it's really nice to wake up and have an email saying, oh, you sold 30 videos last night. It felt good. And I just coasted on it for so long. Had I have had the gusto that she had, I'd be so far ahead right now. But I just kind of like coasted and was like, this is comfortable, this is fun. I'm just doing fetish porn. I'm not doing porn. I'm not one of those girls.
Right.
And that's how I kind of justified it for a long time. And then everyone was like, oh, Samantha Mack did this fetish video. She's probably doing more. She's a slut. She's a whore. And I got called every name in the book, and people made all these assumptions about me. People were like, I saw your gangbang video. Meanwhile, all I had done is put my hand over a guy's mouth. And I'm like, you saw what? And I was like, well, if I have this reputation, I want the paycheck that comes with it.
Yeah.
People already think that I'm doing this, and this, and all I'm doing is being the boobs in the background of the video. I've ruined my reputation already. Might as well go whole hog.
Yeah.
The paycheck.
Take ownership of it.
So 2012, I did my first like sex video, and it's got a good name, but people have like stolen it and put it all over the internet. So now it's called The Lawnmower Man.
The Lawnmower Man.
Because it starts off with a guy mowing my lawn.
Yes.
He's like, excuse me, ma'am, like I need to make some money because, you know, funds are low these days. And I'm like Mrs. Robinson on him. And my thing is, I don't want to do a fantasy or a video that isn't something I don't want people to be encouraged by. Like, I don't want to do a snuff porn or, you know, like anything that was like abusive without somebody begging for it. Because, like, I don't want to give you that fantasy that you could react in your real life that could harm someone. So one of the things I was really strict about is I won't be a cheating housewife because I've been cheated on and it sucks. And I don't want people to fantasize about cheating on their spouse. I want you to love your spouse. I want you to do all the crazy things that I do out of love with my husband on camera to your husband.
Yeah, for sure.
If he wants it. So that was something, my little piece of ethics that I want to just take with me. And a lot of people make a lot of money on doing taboo porn, stepbrother, stepsister, stuff like that.
I was talking about that with someone yesterday, and there's so much of that shit out there right now.
Oh my gosh.
It's crazy.
And I was like...
so bizarre.
And as soon as you're like 30 in porn, you're considered a MILF. And so people were like, oh, will you be my stepmom? And I'm like, no. No, I won't be your stepmom. I'll just be the hot chick with big boobs.
Yeah.
Like,
let me be that.
Can I be like... the woman who's of your mom's age that you're attracted to, that's fine. But, like, I don't want to be your mom. Don't call me mommy in a sexual context. It does not work.
No.
Like, but my very first porno, they were like, okay, this guy's going to cheat on his wife. And you're going to be like, oh, come in. And he's going to be like, no. And I'll be like, you can't resist me. And you're going to lure him in. And I was like, that doesn't really go with my values.
Yeah.
So at the very end of the porno, we have sex pretty well. For my first time, not bad. A lot of knees and elbows, but you get the gist of it.
Yeah.
I think I left most of my clothes on.
Did you?
Yeah. And I was fucking my boyfriend at the time, so I was comfortable with him, but like...
So he was in the porno with you?
Yeah, so this was my boyfriend at the time.
At the time, yeah.
Yes. He's long gone now. At the very, very end of it, we made a line where he said, I love role playing with you. And I was like, oh, honey, like, you're the best husband ever. And I was like, it's 3:00. Go pick up the kids from school. And I throw his pants at him. So you knew that we were role playing cheating. And instead of it being like the girl next door is better than your wife. Leave your wife and your kids for the hoe next door. Right. So, because I couldn't put that energy into the universe. Now, there's a lot of people who will disagree with me on that. And because taboo content, cheating content is so big right now, you cannot go on Brazzers without an ad popping out. Or I should say Pornhub. Without a Brazzers ad popping up with a family turkey dinner and Uncle John is eating out stepsister Mary under the table where Dad carves the turkey and...
No, I don't want to...
I was like, I'm so tired of families fucking each other.
What's up with all the sexual
And like my
content?
family is so supportive and wonderful. Like I just can't... Like, no, my parents are wholesome and wonderful. Stop it. So, like, I can't. And I'm losing a lot of money by not doing taboo content. I'm losing a lot of money by not doing cheating housewife. I'm losing a lot of money by not doing stepmommy JOI videos. But I need to be able to, like, feel happy with myself and where I am in the universe. And I know that would be like me selling my soul to the devil.
Yeah, because they're your own ethics, right? They're your own
and
ethics
everybody
and
has their
values.
own path and their own story. And for me, like, I come from such a wonderful, loving family that, like, to mix those two concepts just does not make sense.
No.
But we all grow up very culturally different, and, like, from one place to another, people have very different concepts and ideas of things. So I get it, I guess. I don't know. I don't want to say anybody's wrong or bad or that I'm so high and mighty and ethical and correct, but, like, I'm happy producing the type of porn that I produce.
Yeah.
I have done a couple stepdaddy videos. There's 2 on my website that I produced, and the one sold really, really well, and the second one I was like, no, let's try this theme again. And then I kind of pulled it right away because I was like, I don't feel good about this. I don't feel good being like, oh yeah, younger, almost underage girl. I'm like, why am I making this?
Yeah.
It just didn't feel right. So I pulled it and I was like, I can't do this step.
It's not vibing with you.
No, I just couldn't do it anymore. So in producing porn now, because now I've gone like full circle.
Yeah.
Because of the way my ex-girlfriend, by the way, is Mistress T.
Okay.
She wrote a book. She's famous. She's amazing.
Shout out.
She's one of the most successful women in porn from that generation of porn. Like, she's so good and successful. I can't tell you publicly how good she is. I'll tell you off the air.
Yeah, tell me.
I'll tell you the great successes later. She's so wonderful. But she built me up. She made my first website. She hand fed me lines and taught me about these fetishes and what to say and what guys want to see. Like, if you're doing a foot fetish video, you can't just show your feet. You have to, like, curl your foot a certain way and show the arch wrinkles, and you got to spread your toes.
You spread it.
Like, there's certain things people are looking for in these fetishes, and if you just go in there like, oh, I'm doing an ass fetish, here's my ass, it's not good enough. You got certain camera angles, you got to say certain things.
It's a lot of work.
So she really gave me, like, my first education. And without that, I wouldn't have the platform I have. So now with Mack Models, that's what I originally set out to do for other girls. So I was building everyone's websites, I was doing the advertising, but I was bogged down by all this work.
It's a lot of
And I was
work.
like, crap, I've got to, like, write, direct, teach, instruct, and then also, like, guide these performers in a way that they're not. Because, like, with the new generation of girls coming out, they don't have to work for it the way I used to have to.
Right.
Like, making a GIF back in the day was so hard. You had to go and pick every single frame and time it and measure it and size the pictures and play them together. And it took like a half a day to make a GIF.
And then now it's...
And now you're like,
simple.
auto GIF, click, done. So I'm like, I had to want it. I had to work for it. And I had to be very confident about what I put my name on. So now teaching girls, like, oh no, like, you have to, this is how you have to treat your fellow performer. This is how you have to create this content. This is why you don't do this before a scene, because you have to respect the people you're working with. And so giving them, like, motherly advice. And then I say, I don't want to be a stepmom. And I felt like everyone's mom. And then also giving them, like, work advice. Like, no, you're hired for this shoot. You show up on time. This is how you have good work ethic. Because we had to work for it. We had to want it. We had to have good work ethic. Nowadays, girls are ghosting shoots because ghosting is common. It's a workplace practice now to ghost somebody, and it's horrible. So teaching so much became so overwhelming. So I kind of changed how Porno Bootcamp was and how Mack Models was.
Okay.
So it's gone through many phases, and now we're relaunching Mack Models again. We already relaunched once this year. Now we're relaunching again. Because we had to keep changing the concept with the changing technology and with changing attitudes towards porn. We have to change what we were doing.
Right.
So I was just being like, you're hot. Let me teach you what you need to do. You're going to work with these stars from LA. We're going to produce this. You know, we were spending thousands of dollars a weekend producing these huge videos in virtual reality, normal porn. Like, it was amazing. We worked with some superstars. We worked with Bella Danger, Brett Rossi, which is Charlie Sheen's ex-wife.
Oh, cool.
We worked with Cherie DeVille, like some really big name porn stars.
Yeah.
I got to work with Small Hands, which is like every stripper's dream come true because he's like the tattooed bad boy of porn.
Ooh.
And girls still to this day are like, so do you actually know him? I'm like, he's literally been inside me. I think I know him. I got to work with Burning Angel with my goal to work with Burning Angel. I got to do 2 videos with them. Like, I've had this really wild career, but it went through like this mainstream phase, like fetish phase, mainstream phase. And now because of things, like even things like TikTok now.
Yeah.
Technology has changed so much. Everyone's on the forefront. So now I'm changing Mack Models, and we changed the format of Porno Bootcamp. Instead of training you to do a mainstream porn for our company, now we're training people on how to make their own platforms.
Ah.
So I started off by doing it for them the way Mistress T did for me.
Yeah.
And now I'm teaching you how to do it yourself because technology changes so quickly. I can't build you a platform, produce, edit, direct, write your videos.
That's a lot.
Now I'm doing social media classes, which I do at the Penthouse.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
I needed a big screen that everyone could follow along. I needed good Wi-Fi, which the Penthouse doesn't have.
Yes, they do not have that.
So I had to hotspot everybody for each of my classes.
Oh my god.
But I needed like a big enough room where I could talk about sex openly, and I couldn't just rent a regular hall for that. No. So I've been using the Penthouse, and I was doing it the last or second last Friday of every month, but people would come to one and then not come to the next. And so I started because the groups were small enough still that I could cater it towards what they wanted. So some of them were specifically about OnlyFans.
Right.
Because I'm an OnlyFans master.
Yeah. I want to talk to you about that.
But I mean, I think a lot of it comes from I had to learn a very basic platform back in the day.
Yeah.
And with the experience I've gained over the last decade, I've been able to understand these new technologies that come along very quickly. I've caught on because it's like learning to drive standard first.
Yeah.
And then getting like a nice Maserati afterwards. So I can troubleshoot a lot.
Yeah, and you can navigate.
And back in the day, I hate saying back in the day, I sound so old. And now with no voice, like a grandma, like I really sound old. We had to like write down like, okay, it's 4:00 on a Thursday. I got this much in sales after making this advertisement, and you had to track it yourself.
Wow.
And so now with all these algorithms and programs that teach these things and track these things for us, it's so easy. So now I can like do a quick scan of somebody's website and go, change that color, change that font, advertise this time, and this time, post this with a GIF, this with a video, this with a picture, say this kind of clickbaity thing, and you'll increase your revenue. And I can go in and just like 5 minutes, give you like 5 tips, change everything, make you more money.
Wow. So it's evolved a lot.
It's evolved a lot.
Right.
So now we have Porno Bootcamp, which you saw in the Vice documentary.
Yes, you guys have to check it out. It's awesome.
It's called Porno Bootcamp. It's hard to miss. It's on YouTube. It's done by Vice Canada. Mm-hmm. And I fell into that by accident again.
Did they contact you then? Everyone contacts you.
I mean, if you want something sexy, because I was that girl back in the day who was the only one who would publicly say I was a stripper, I was the one always contacted.
Right.
So if you wanted someone to tell dirty jokes at your 40th anniversary, get Samantha Mack. You want big boobs pop out a cake, get Samantha Mack. So there was a company that was doing like in-world gaming where you make your avatar and they had to move. I did the motion capture for that. So if you're pole dancing, lap dancing, being slutty in a video game, they're probably my moves.
Interesting. That's so fucking cool.
So the people from that then wanted me to host their online adult award show where they were giving awards to the people who, because it was an in-world thing. So all the sponsors were getting awards. So I hosted that because I was also a stand-up comedian and an MC. And I had tits. So it all worked out.
Perfect.
And so from that, they were like, oh, well, we're going to work in virtual reality. We're going to start doing porn. Well, who can shoot porn for us? Samantha Mack. So it all just like
It just came all together.
It's a snowball that's just continued to roll. And then they were doing mainstream porn, and then we worked in VR for a long time, and people have like changed jobs and whatnot. And I've just followed that group of people.
Yeah.
And we've grown together, and that's how we got our first studio. Problem we found is male talent is expensive to get like a pro from the States to come up. A lot of people can't cross the border. A lot of people are in porn in the States. I not so much anymore, but when we started this journey, a lot of them were in porn because they were having trouble finding other jobs. A lot of guys are in porn because they got big dicks. Right. And it's really easy to get a DUI in the States. So once you have a DUI, you can't cross into Canada. So getting this talent to come to us was hard. Rather than searching for somebody who might do the job and you have to spend a lot of money on them, we're like, gotta have local talent. There's gotta be big dick in Canada. There has to be.
There has to be.
So we started training men specifically because there's a bazillion women who are gorgeous who can do a great job. But we just need one guy to come in, get hard, stay hard, and come when he's told to. And that is way harder than it sounds.
And where do you find these guys? Like, where do they
come to me?
They come to you.
I just put out like a subtle hint online, and I am swarmed with emails. Right now, I'm behind so far in my emails because I just can't keep up with email dudes who want to be in porn. Now, when they contact me, I get the whole gamut. So I got a lot of weeding out.
Yeah, it's all filtering.
There's people who've come to me like who are just like, oh, well, I want to do porn, but I only want to shoot with Christy Mack. And I'm like, she's been retired for 5 years. Get a clue. Like, we've never shot with her. What makes you think that? But then I was at a tattoo show with her. So they saw a picture of me and her together. And they thought that I could get her in their pants. No, it's not how it works.
That's not how it works.
No, I don't own my friends' vaginas. I'm sorry. Ching. No. But yeah, so I have to weed out the guys who are there for bad reasons. Right. I have to weed out the people who can't perform. Right. And with VR, thankfully with VR, lying down is the main position. The guy lies down almost completely. He's got to stay hard. The camera has to be over his face. So we have to measure from the camera to his dick what that length is so that it looks a believable distance for the viewer when they're watching. Right. If your torso is too long, we can't use you.
Not working.
Or we have to like pull down a t-shirt and like fake where your nipples are so that your torso is shorter.
Oh, wow. So many things I like didn't even think about.
So many tech things.
Yeah.
And so also with men, if they had like a beer gut and their belly went up, then we couldn't see the bottom of their dick. We can't shoot you. So it was really easy for me to like eliminate a lot of guys who didn't have porn star bodies, let's say. I don't know how to say this nicely. Guys with beer bellies who would show up, their bellies stuck out further than their dick did. It was easy for me to say, oh, the technology can't shoot that way. I'm sorry. Instead of me being like, Santa, go back to the workshop. And I don't want to fat shame ever because
no.
I'm not a skinny girl, but like the technology gave me that out instead of me having to say something that could potentially hurt someone's feelings.
Yeah, totally.
And I don't
That's
want
not
to
what
hurt
you want to
people's
do.
Feelings.
No.
Even now, like we'll have guys show up and like they've got pretty good dicks, but they have no self-confidence, or they have this. I'm like, listen, you gotta have confidence before you show up naked.
No, totally.
Like,
of
there's
course.
just things you gotta have.
That's something you can't really teach, though, too.
But man, I've learned through this that there's a lot of different dicks out there. Mm-hmm. Like, what we think the classic penis looks like is not actually the average penis. I don't want to say, like, I've seen every dick, but I've seen a lot of dick. Like, they literally come to me to apply for porn. I see more dick on a daily basis than a doctor. Like, and I've realized that a lot of guys don't know how to use their dicks. And, like, I will probably consider retiring into a field of work that'll probably have something to do with, like, male sexuality. Mm-hmm. Because I've come across so many men who are adults who do not know that you can pull your foreskin back.
Oh, my God. Are you serious?
This seems normal to you and I.
Yeah.
But I see real-life men who just don't know.
Oh, my God.
And it's not a cultural thing. It's not like one type of man is coming to me with the same problem. The whole run of the mill.
It's like multiples.
I've seen guys tear their foreskin. I've seen men have to get adult circumcisions because they're not being good to their foreskin. It's getting hard. They're not stretching the skin. Sometimes it cracks and crystallizes.
Like, cracks and crystallizes?
Yeah,
what the
things you shouldn't say when you hear penis.
No!
Yeah, guys, like, there's some guys who, there's just so many weird situations. I remember doing, like, an initial interview with a guy.
Yeah.
We talked about whether they want to do porn. After that, they get their first hand on camera, and I talk to the camera. It's usually me, because I don't want to throw, like, a sacrificial lamb out. So it's usually me with this dick that may or may not work. And I'm stroking his cock, and I'm talking to the camera, and I give him a timer. When he hears the alarm go off, he has to ejaculate. That's the test. Can you stay hard, get hard, stay hard, and then come when you're told to? That's the first test. You got to get through that hurdle to get to the Porno Bootcamp you see in the documentary.
You're right. Oh my
God. The one in the documentary is fun. Like, it's a bunch of people in a room. It's musical dicks. It's a bunch of girls, a bunch of guys. Watch
the documentary, guys.
It's a fun documentary, but that's level 2. Level 1 is you show up, it's you, me, some camera people, director, my assistant, and I'm there playing with your genitals. And then when the alarm goes off, you have 2 minutes to come. If you can't come in 2 minutes, you go home with blue balls. And so most people can force it out. But guys don't know that they can control their orgasms. They're like, what? I have to control it? And a lot of guys are like, well, if the girl can't do her job, I can't do mine. And I was like, no, sir.
It's not, no. It's a two-way street.
This you have to be able to control your performance. Like, you're an actor on stage, you have to be able to control your performance. Know your lines.
Yeah.
Know your cues.
Yeah, it's the same
kind
of thing.
And the other actors will know their cues, and we'll all do a beautiful play together. And I mean, like, yes, you want your partner to be skilled. We've all faked orgasms.
Yes.
Ladies,
we've all been there.
But you have to, hit your cues, hit your marks, and hopefully it'll line up and you'll make a beautiful play. But these guys, like, in their 20s, in their 40s, in their 50s, being like, what? I have to control how it happens?
Yes.
And I'm like, yeah. Like,
yes.
Yes, you must have control over your dick. Well, we don't want to be on set paying a crew for 9 hours waiting for you to get the confidence to blow your load. So Porno Bootcamp was designed to teach guys how to get hard, stay hard, and come on command. And we do all sorts of, like, we've talked with, like, male performers in the States, and they say, hey, here's what I take to have a bigger cum load. Here's how I stay hydrated for a scene. So I'm not mansplaining penises to men.
Yeah.
I'm saying, I've talked to these men. Here's their advice. You do what works for you.
Right.
I never tell them, like, take this magic testosterone pill and you'll be a stallion. Like, I don't know. I don't have a dick. I don't know.
No, but everybody's different too.
So now we have a few men that we constantly work with, and that was doing really good.
Yeah.
We were in a good place. We did the Face documentary. We were employing local Canadian men with wonderful penises to do these awesome sex scenes. And then OnlyFans came out. Just for fans. Is my girl.
Adore me. All these things.
Right?
Patreon. Fucking everything.
And I was just like, okay, I gotta weed this out. Like, not only do we need men to work now, but now girls don't need a man. They can just make their own content. Well, that's what I was doing in the beginning. Okay, we've come full circle. So now how can I make this work? And I would watch girls, and it drives me crazy. It drives me crazy when a girl's in the change room at work, she puts on her phone, and she like, I'm getting ready for my strip show. Do you like my outfit, Daddy? And then she sells it to her Patreon or OnlyFans or whatever. And then a week later, after not doing any other uploads, she's like, I don't like porn. It doesn't make me any money. And I'm like, you shut your mouth hole. You are not doing porn correctly.
Not doing it correctly.
You showed half a tit one time on OnlyFans and you didn't make $1 million. Shocking. And I get so mad at them for like dissing the industry that I've worked so hard in because it's so good for me. It's so good for the people who taught me.
Totally.
I want to be able to pass that torch forward. And people's attention spans are so short now. Like they'll come to one class, I'll give them 5 things to do. And then you don't see it happen. And then they're like, I don't understand. I went to Samantha's class. I didn't learn anything. Trust me, that's not my fault. Like, I will show you my statistics on my OnlyFans, and then we'll look at yours, and we'll see where the problem is. It wasn't that what I taught you wasn't correct. It's that you posted one thing in a month.
The execution is all wrong.
Half a tit in 1 month is not going to give you a porn star paycheck.
No.
And like, I'm like, also, you advertised Monday at 3:30 in the morning. What the hell, man? That is no good. No good. You also advertise to 4 women who work with you because that's who's following you. No, they're not going to pay to see your tit.
No.
So
how can you, for those who have OnlyFans, how can you really grow that?
Ooh! Okay, so I'm doing it. Do you have an OnlyFans?
I do.
Okay, well, I have created a new OnlyFans. So what I'm doing right now, Vanessa Vaughn and I have just done a thing.
Oh, I think I saw this on your story.
We joined forces.
Yes.
She has a good OnlyFans. I have a good OnlyFans. We joined forces, and now we have a monster OnlyFans. We didn't combine our accounts. We had separate accounts, but we filmed all of their questions together.
Okay.
And then we edit it into short little 4-minute videos, and we post them one at a time. So at noon, I release what the question of the day is.
Right.
At 3 o'clock, I release like a teaser bit of that video.
On the story or on your feed?
On my feed.
Okay.
At 6 o'clock, I release like an image, and then at 9 o'clock, I release the full video answer. But the day before, I'll go in my messages and I'll message absolutely all my followers. And I say, hey, tomorrow's question is this. If you want to see the full video, here it is right now. Pay $5.
Yeah, pay. Yeah, totally.
And so when you have 100 followers and you wake up every morning and 100 people have paid you $5 each to see tomorrow's video, you're doing pretty good. Then they see the content, they comment. I go to the beach a lot. I live on the beach. Literally, I live at Sunset Beach. And I'll go in a bikini, and I'll go use my beach bag. There'll be 3 different bikini tops in my beach bag. There'll be 3 different necklaces and a bandana or whatever. And I'll go to the beach, and I'll wear one top, and I'll go click, 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 20 selfies. I'll take the top off, click, 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 20 new selfies. Switch the bikini top, switch sunglasses, switch the necklace. The only way you can tell that I'm shooting the same is if my manicure stays the same. Because I get my nails every 3 weeks, so you know what month it is based on my nails. So then I'll go click, 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 click again. Or I'll go in the water and I'll spin around, take pictures in the water.
Yeah.
And then I release one picture from that photo set every single day because you can pre-program your photos.
Oh, yeah. That's what I do, too.
So I pre-program 30 photos at a time so you know every day you're getting a picture from that first set. And then the topless set will come out at 3 o'clock every day for a month. And then the yellow bikini set will come out at 4 o'clock every day for a month. So every day you're getting multiple posts. And I don't have to update every single day.
Yeah. No.
So I have free time. So I'm running it like a business.
As you should.
Right? So I know that you're subscribing for a certain amount of content for a certain length of time. I'm making sure that you get that.
Right.
And then when I do have free time, I can go into my emails and I can answer all the questions. Right. So the only thing we're doing differently now is we're asking them, like, come to us with your questions. What do you got? Because we're going to make our next video for you. And so now we're taking customs because of that. And so it worked really well with Vanessa Vaughn. We did 13 videos.
Awesome.
We're filming again on Monday.
Yay!
And we've got like all these different like gimmicks and things planned out. And what really worked for me is because I have a big YouTube following. I went on YouTube and I was like, hey guys, I love you, but I'm going to be answering questions here where I get paid for it. You want me to open it? You want me to open your boobs? That's where that's going to happen. Here, right. I'm on YouTube and I'm happy. Yeah. But I have a very big following there. I have over 58 million views. So getting that audience to go there was good. Now, what's interesting is certain countries don't allow certain platforms.
I see.
So there's countries that don't allow my porn site, but do allow my OnlyFans.
Right.
So I started putting a lot of my like porn trailers and things on there directly. People don't know what's on each other's OnlyFans. Some people are like, oh, it's all porn. I can't charge that much because it's all porn. Yeah. I very rarely actually put graphic porn on there. I do because that's what I'm known for. But very rarely. A lot of it is my day-to-day. I'm sexy. I'm topless here. I'm naked there. I'm hanging out with this chick. We're doing this crazy thing here.
Yeah. But people like seeing that.
Yep. Watch me and my girlfriend on OnlyFans bouncing at the gym being stupid. Like, and the interaction is so consistent there. So you're getting a much different product. Before, porn was like, I want to see your whole doing things. Now we're selling intimacy and interaction. So if you want intimacy and interaction, right? You go to OnlyFans.
Right.
And so I give them a lot of options, and I'm constantly asking questions. You won't see a post of just a picture. It's a picture with a poll, or it's a picture with a questionnaire, or it's a picture where it's got a cheeky saying that I know when it's auto-tweeted. You always look up your OnlyFans to your Twitter. When it's auto-tweeted, I know people are going to respond to the question.
Right.
And when they respond to it, it automatically shares my link to my OnlyFans.
Ah, right.
So it gets spread to more people.
So
and with
really
OnlyFans, I find, because it's a trusted name, people aren't afraid to put their credit card down for $5 a month or $20 a month or whatever it is.
Right.
They know they're not going to get scammed. They're not going to get a virus. It's a safe place to go.
Right.
Same thing with Pornhub. It's such a big company. They're well taken care of. You know, you put your credit card in, you pay for your premium account, you're never going to get scammed. There's a lot of pop-up ads. You just close them. Like, it's not like the 90s searching for porn where you got a virus every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So it's a good product, and it advertises itself because it has a good name. All you have to do is put in the main effort.
Have you heard about like some instances where girls aren't getting paid free, like via OnlyFans too? Because I keep hearing that lately.
So I saw this thing on Twitter. There's like any business, there's a lot of drama.
Yes.
And there is one person online right now who is saying that like this one site's not doing this or the other, and she's screenshotting her receipts. And I looked into it and I was like, I don't see proof of this. I see you being angry at this person and trying to take down their company. So I haven't seen proof of anyone not getting paid on OnlyFans.
Yeah, I've personally never, like, it works for me.
The problem with adult sites is that they have to change their banks a lot.
Yes.
Banks are very higher and mightier than thou, and they control everything. So if you want an adult, especially in the States, Canada, we don't have the issues that the States has. They have a big porn industry. It doesn't make sense. But in order to get paid, they have to change their banks quite a few times. They have to change their policies consistently. Technology changes, people change, the economy changes. So they got to keep up with that. So when you don't get paid on OnlyFans, it's usually because they switched banks and you didn't update your banking information. You go update your banking information, you'll get your next paycheck. Only problems I ever had, I was like, oh, I didn't get paid this week. What's going on? I went and looked, and it was literally, I hadn't updated long enough. There was a big yellow bar that said update. And I was like, oh crap.
There we go.
They don't have my bank account. That's why there's no money in it. Whoops. There's times where Pornhub hasn't paid me, and I've just been like, hey, you say this money was sent out on this day. It was not sent out.
Where is it?
Where's my money? And they're like, whoops, and they get right on it. Also, you have to imagine, you are one of a gazillion women showing off half a tit on the internet trying to get a paycheck. So when a bank has to deal with a gazillion paychecks, there's going to be a mistake somewhere. And if you just go to their support line, they'll fix it. But yeah, so long... Moral of the story is, I got tits, I got into porn, I teach people how to use their dick. If you're not good on OnlyFans, I will make fun of you behind your back. But if you come to me for advice, I will help you make more money.
But there are some questions from some of the fans. So
Hey fans!
Hey fans!
Hi Mom!
We'll do question number 1. So how many cc's in those fantastic jugs?
600 cc's.
600 cc's, as you said earlier. What have been your favorite shoots?
Ooh!
That's a good question. I like that one.
I had such a crush on Small Hands at Burning Angel for so long. But I would say my last time shooting with him was the best because I was finally comfortable. I was finally like, I had gone from clip porn to mainstream porn. I knew people in the industry. Behaving when you're doing your own OnlyFans, or in my case, it was like clips for sale.
Right.
Is very different than how you behave on a mainstream set. So learning, like getting my grounds there and then coming back and doing I think my third scene with him, I knew what I was doing. I had it together. We put on it. We made a good product. He shot one of my first Porno Bootcamp videos.
Oh.
He went in as, what was his name? Presley. He's like, hey, my name is Presley. I'm going to try out this Porno Bootcamp. He's like, it's me, Small Hands. And he tried to like punk me. And then I put him through the Porno Bootcamp thing. Like, okay, I'm going to touch your dick now. Does this feel good? Do you want me to keep going? And then he's like surprised and he pummels me. And it's such a good video. It's like 40 minutes long. It's this amazing video. I'm in positions I've never been in before. Oh, wow. But I was so comfortable with him. And he's like the Rock of porn. Like, he's the Dwayne Johnson of pornography. So, in my mind. And so to have that video, and I own that video. Like, it's not out there for somebody else. It's my video.
Yeah. Is
so great because it's one of the biggest projects I've worked on. It's one of the longest projects. It's shot in 4K. And so that was like my absolute favorite because I was dirtier and filthier than I've been in a long time because I was so comfortable with this person I admire so much.
Yeah. I'm a fan of Samantha Mack and Shreds.
Yay.
What has been your weirdest fan experience?
A fan came up to me at AVN's in Las Vegas and had my tattoos.
What?
I made a YouTube video out of it.
No way.
I'm equally flattered and horrified.
And like creeped out.
Because like you don't expect someone to show up looking like you.
No.
Like it's a dude. Wow. And he's got the cutest voice. And he's the nicest, like, sweetest man. But he's got love more fearless on his knuckles. He's got thank you on his knuckles. He's got the star on his face. He's got the stars on his collarbones. I think he's got the butterfly on my shoulder, which is funny because this has my ex-boyfriend's initials in it, and now he's got it. The lawnmower man's initials are right there. That was the weirdest because it took me completely off guard.
Totally.
But he is so nice. Like, it's not as creepy as it initially seems.
Yeah. Like, what was your reaction when you saw her? Like, what the...
At first, I was like...
What the fuck?
What the hell? And then he was so lovely that I was like, I'm so flattered. Like,
yeah.
I went through like a range of emotions in like 3 seconds. And I made a YouTube video with him and I was like, we got the same tattoos. Like, fucking right, man. Yeah, that was the weirdest.
Totally.
I mean, we've had fans show up at our house.
That's kind of invasive, no?
We've had people knock on our door
and
like
Vancouver?
yell at our landlord to be demand to be let in. But I want to see Mack models. I want to see Samantha Mack's supposed to be here. And she's like, dude, like, no, you can't come in. Oh, how do I say this? I've had to turn away some people who were special. People who didn't have the same common sense social graces as other people.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying.
And I had to explain to them very carefully why they couldn't be at my house. They didn't quite get why they were being creepy, but they weren't doing it out of being malicious. So...
No. That was also a fine line, though, when, like, if you, like, come off and like, you start telling them off, and then they can get...
Because Shred's new reaction is, protect my woman.
Yeah.
So he's just like, get out! And I was like, whoa, wait. I sense there's something different going on here.
There's something special going on.
So they did get to talk to me, but it was a very gentle conversation.
That's good.
That said, don't come back.
Yeah, please no.
So we've had some weird interactions like that.
Who are, I guess we kind of answered this too a little bit, but who are some people in the industry that you look up to?
Joanna Angel.
Okay.
Joanna Angel, because she was Bernie Angel. So Joanna built her porn career very similar to how I did. Mm-hmm. But she hooked on that niche of tattooed alternative girls and made people who weren't blonde with big boobs and big lips sexy. And I loved that. But she had a very, homemade effect to her porn. She did parodies that were ridiculous. She used people who were colorful, and she created this empire of, misfits in porn who were exquisite. She created something that was so beautiful and so professional and so amazing. But she started, in her basement. The same way we all kind of start.
Totally.
And so I've always tried to model what I do after what I can learn from her. She has been, without even trying, just by existing, she has been one of my biggest role models. And meeting her and talking to her was so weird because in my mind, she was like the fairy godmother of porn. In person, she's just so cute.
Aww.
She's just adorable. She has a really good team around her that really supports her and creates really good projects. And what I learned most from her is have good people around you. Have a good team. She's the reason I hired an assistant. I was trying to do everything myself. I was trying to build everyone's websites. I was trying to teach everybody. I was trying to make everybody happy the way I was.
That's a lot.
And it's a lot. And when I saw her work, I was like, whoa, she has this. She has that. She's got this guy who does this for her. She's got that guy who does that for her. I get it. She sunk into her name and her name did the work. And that was because she had laid the groundwork already.
Yeah,
and I was like, okay, I got to go next level. I got to do that. And so that's why we recreated with the Vice documentary coming out and all the attention that garnered. We recreated how we do Mack models in Porno Bootcamp. We created actual classes. We do bondage classes. So you know how to safely do bondage. You can take it home with your partner and do it there. Or if you're going to come to one of my film sets, now you have the basic knowledge to, tie somebody up with their clothing or with actual proper bondage equipment without hurting them.
Right.
So I've been able to say okay, well now if I need to hire for a bondage scene, I'm going to hire someone who took the class.
Right.
So that was our concept there. And I was I need to expand and let the name do its work. And I need to hire people to come in to teach on my behalf. People who know more than me, people who are better than me, because that's what Joanna Angel would do. So that's why we evolved Porno Bootcamp. Now we're evolving it again, whereas we're still teaching those classes, but now we're focusing on okay, you have an OnlyFans, you want to do this yourself? Here's how you do it.
Awesome.
Put your best foot forward. Don't flounder because the first thing 100 girls will open an OnlyFans. I use OnlyFans as the main example, but they'll open their own clip site or whatever. Yeah. They open a Pornhub account. No idea what they're doing. A month later, they got a $10 paycheck and they're like, "This is it. Porn's stupid. It doesn't make money. No wonder people buy it for free." Well, no, you fucked up.
Yeah.
So that's why we're now evolving it again and expanding it. So I didn't want to copy the Burning Angel thing and just do tattooed girls.
Yeah.
I didn't want to just do big boob girls, like, because I don't know anyone with big boobs besides me. I wanted to, like, keep it open to everybody, but still, I know she was so successful because she had a niche with the tattooed girls. I don't know what my niche is besides the fact that we're Canadian, but there's probably nobody else that I go to for advice. Like, without even asking her, I'll go to her site and I'll just see what she does and how she does it. That being said, this year she sold Burning Angel. She sold her brand. She doesn't own it anymore.
What?
And so now I don't trust anything that's on her website because somebody else is running it.
Oh my god.
I'm like, it's not Joanna Angel's product anymore. See where I am in a year.
I guess the last question we have would be oddest requests you've gotten.
Ooh, okay.
It's a big one.
There is... I just did like the Home Alone face.
It was great.
So there's odd fetishes, but what I find more odd is people who order a custom and will send me like 4 pages explaining what they want.
Oh my god.
But they don't use punctuation. So I have to like guess where the sentences start and stop and what they mean because they'll type the way they talk.
Right.
So like somebody specifically wanted me to specifically do a Pacific movement and I was like, so is this including the ocean?
Yeah.
So there's that. But the all-time favorite one that makes me throw my fists in the air is this guy wanted me to shoot. Okay, so POV is point of view.
Yeah.
So if I'm shooting POV, it means that the camera is where your eyes would be, seeing what your eyes would see.
Yeah.
So he wanted POV, he said. So he wanted to sit down in an armchair. He wanted me to then back my ass up, POV. No problem. That's going to be awesome. I can back my ass up towards your face. Yeah. Right? Cool up dance. Great view. Love it. Perfect camera angle. Then he goes, I want you to sit down in my lap and ride my cock, POV style, so I can see the penetration. And I was like, sir, if you are sitting upright in a chair and I sit on top of you like a little spoon perhaps, and my genitals are sitting on top of your genitals, and you are upright in an armchair, at what point does your face see the penetration happening under my butt?
Yeah, how?
All you're going to see is the back of my head.
Yeah.
Maybe a shoulder. Like, no, like, I don't want to, like, make fun of this guy because he spends a lot of money on customs. Yeah. So knowing what he meant and, like, deciphering that and then giving him a product he could be happy with is the weirdest thing because I'm like, okay, what does he mean? Yeah. So we ended up shooting a chair. We did the first scene in a chair. Then we took the bottom of that chair, put it on a bench, took the chair away, pulled the guy back into a lying position, put the camera over his belly button. Oh. So you thought that he was still seated, but you got this magical view from his groin of the penetration. Right. And I was like, dude, just tell me that you want to see a lot of booty. You want me fucking you in a chair. Yeah. I know how to do the camera work. I know how to direct the shots.
It's all about angles.
I know how to make the movie. And what I hate about customs is when you make it to the specifications, the Pacific way that they want it. And then they're not happy because they don't know the terminology or they don't know how to set up shot lists. I'm just like, dude, I know how to make a movie. Stop it. Just tell me what your theme is. Yeah. And so, like, one guy was like, I want to be a small man hiding on a grape foraging for food. Okay. I want you to walk by and be like, there's that food I dropped. Then you bend over. He, like, line by line, then you bend over and pick up the grape. You don't have to see my body because I'm on the grape. It's my POV. And I was like, all right. Okay. So I pick up this grape that you can't see. Can't see the grape, can't see him. And then I have to swallow him whole while he POV sees my uvula from outside my mouth. How do I swallow you whole if you're outside my mouth? And I was like, just let me make this the way. I know what you mean. Just tell me you want a giant ass POV scene where you're swallowed whole, you want to see uvula. Yeah. I will give you that. But to be like, and then say this line, and then pick up the grape. And the beginning of his whole story, and like, the video's called Swallowed. Okay. And I made it in a way that I think works. Yeah. It was one of my top sellers that month.
Oh, hey!
So, yay for weird fetishes.
Yay.
So we made it work, but I was like, just trust me that after 10 years...
You know what you're doing.
I know what I'm doing. There's weird fetishes. Mm-hmm. There's crazy shit out there. But it's the people who think they understand filmmaking. I'm like, no.
It's so entertaining.
POV is not penis of view.
To contrary belief.
Right?
Okay, well, that's the end of Q&A. Unfortunately, I'm so sad. I could talk with you forever. I need to take your class. There's so many things I need to do. You need to be back on the show. But where can we find you? There's so many places.
I am all over the internet. In most cases, I am the Samantha Mack. Spelled like the truck, not like the makeup. Instagram deleted me at 200,000.
No.
So I have a new Instagram, which is the Samantha Mack _. My Twitter is the most graphic, the Samantha Mack. My G-rated Twitter is the Sam Mack. You can see that one. It's not shadow banned.
Yay.
But it does say backup account for the Samantha Mack. You can find me at the Penthouse Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday DJing. Mm-hmm. I'm usually in my pajamas or workout clothes. I don't dress up for work. I should, because more people are coming in to see me now, and I'm like, I look like a slob. Damn it. I thought I was hiding in a DJ booth. Now that people know I work there. I've worked there since 2002, by the way. Now that people know I work there. Yeah, it's fun. It's good times. I'm a blast. I play a lot of 90s music.
Yes. She's great.
I play a lot of Dick in a Box. Everywhere. I host the Vancouver Tattoo Show. I'm at the Taboo Show. I do it all, man. I'm
Literally
everywhere.
do it all. Do you have any more things?
Well, I mean, there's
so
MackMovies.com, my main website, which we just launched this year.
Yay, congrats.
MackMovies.ca is my first website. Okay. And I always release to my Canadian fans first.
Yay.
I'm loyal to my Canadians.
Yes.
If you want to see something first, it goes on OnlyFans. If you want to see it first publicly, it goes to my MackMovies.ca.
Gotcha.
And then a couple days later, it shows up on MackMovies.com. I have a many fids, and I want clips for sale. I have everything. I've got a Pornhub account. But the good stuff is, I would say my MackMovies.ca is probably my best, because you're getting everything first, and you can buy individual videos. You don't have to have a membership.
Oh, sweet.
That's probably my best. And I'll always put my Canadians first.
Yeah.
We're building a studio. Oh, we're building a studio.
So exciting.
So you saw my old... Did you shoot my old studio?
No.
So my old studio was really cool. I had a pink studio for a while. I had a striped studio. I've had a stone brick studio. We had an orange Halloween studio for a year. It was amazing. Wow. We have a new studio coming February 1st.
Ooh.
And our priority one is a Canadiana room. So if you're going to come, shoot Mac movies or Mac models, our studio will be so Canadian. I have pillar candles made out of birch tree. I've got the red buffalo plaid bed sheets. I am so ready to give you the Canadian porno experience.
That's awesome.
Yes, there will be hardwood everywhere. We're going to use maple syrup as lube. Not really, maybe.
Please don't.
But yeah, it's going to be... We have such a good country, and we have such... to get serious
talent.
For a moment, we live in a wonderful country.
We do.
We have amazing MLAs and leaders who will really stand up for our rights, not just as women or people of color, but as sex workers and as independent business owners. We have so much flexibility and freedom thanks to being Canadian.
Yes.
We do not get shamed the same way porn stars in the States get shamed. The way they can't go to certain banks. They're not allowed to have a savings account at certain banks because they may have done sex work.
Oh,
it's horrible.
God.
A lot of porn actors can't be in mainstream films as a background or an extra because they've done porn. They're considered bad, rotten, no good, throw them out. Shreds, my husband, has had a thriving film career. He's been in almost everything you've seen on Netflix. They don't care that he's filmed porn. There's no stigma because the porn industry in Canada is so small, it's maybe not taken seriously, but... We are so lucky to live normal lives and not be shamed the way other people in other countries are.
Right.
We can do so much, and we are free to show our boobs anywhere in Canada. Free the nipple. You can go anywhere. A man can go topless. A woman can go topless from coast to coast. We have so many wonderful freedoms. So it's such a blessing to be here right now in this time, in this country. And that's why I'm rambling about how great Canada is.
Canada is great.
But we're going to really impress upon the porn world that Canada has hot chicks.
Yeah.
Great wood. And we make good products out here because I'm tired of going to LA, man. I really want to put Canada on the map and Vancouver on the map. Right now, West Coast, I'm picturing to the Wet Coast.
The Wet Coast,
Not
guys.
because of the rain, honey.
I love it. But thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank
for
you.
taking time. And
Thanks for listening to my raspy voice.
Yes, very sexy.
I promise I have a very sexy voice. I'm known for my voice.
Anyways, thanks again, Sam, for being on the show. Thank you.
Thank you.
And don't forget to like, rate, follow, subscribe, and all the things. Strip by Sia and my personal Sia stuff. And we'll catch you guys next week. Bye.
You're listening to Stripped by Sia, produced and hosted by Steph Sia, aka Kimchi,